Recording in progress.
Hare Krishna. Welcome all for Shubha Mangala Arati Japa session, followed by a short class. So we'll start with today's short class, and today's class would be on the importance of hearing Krishna Katha. So I'll try and share some of the points, and before I do, I would like to offer my humble prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamani Dadanti Swakadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Swajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanithamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpataribhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जय पताक स्वामी नित्यानंद आचार्य पदाय कृपा प्रदायिनी गौर कथा धाम नगरग्रामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य Hare Krishna. So today we will try and discuss about what is the importance of hearing Krishna Katha. So in Sanskrit, hearing is called Shravanam. So hearing is one of the limbs or one of the processes in Navavida Bhakti, as we have 9 processes of devotional service. So first starting with is Shravanam, or hearing about the Supreme Lord. So even on a material platform, we can see as to how important hearing is, or how important the sound vibrations are. So it could be that the morning routine we start with. So we are all woken up by the alarm. So the sound vibration that's coming from the alarm, so it plays such an important role that a person who has been sleeping, he wakes him up. So similarly, when we hear about the Supreme Lord, the dormant love that is there for us, because Krishna tells, Mama Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So we are all the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and we all have that love and effect. We all love our Supreme Father, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. But the only difference is that it that this love, the dormant love, the love that we have towards the Supreme Lord, it is more prominently seen in pure devotees, whereas in the budding devotees, it is still dormant. And we have to try and awaken ourselves just as the alarm wakes us up from the sleep. We have to, hear Krishna Katha, and through that Krishna Katha, we have to awaken the dormant love that we have inside us for the Supreme Lord. So it is such an important aspect of our daily sadhana, that hearing it is very important that we hear about the Supreme Lord. So even in Namamritam, in one of the Namamritas, while I was going through, Srila Prabhupada tells that if the sound vibrations of the holy name is being spread all over, if the government makes an arrangement to spread the vibration of the holy name of the Lord, then what, all of them are trying to come and establish peace. It could happen just within no time. So that is the power of the holy name, and the pastimes of the Lord. They're so powerful that they just pierce into the heart of the listener. So if we'll try and today focus on what is the effect of hearing Krishna Katha? What impact does it has on the listener, the hearer of Krishna Katha? And what is the right mood in which we have to hear Krishna Katha? And thirdly, what is the source from which we have to hear Krishna Katha? So when we see how do we develop attachment or liking towards a particular thing or towards a particular person, speaking about the celebrities in the mundane world, in the material world, people are so attracted towards these celebrities, and they're so fascinated about hearing more and more about them. So how do they get that attraction, or how do they develop that liking towards a particular person, is when we hear more and more about the same person. So similarly, how do we get attached to Krishna, or how do we get detached from the material likings or material attraction, is when we get ourselves attached to Krishna. So how do we get ourselves attached is when we hear more and more about Krishna. That is when we get attached to Krishna. That is a normal tendency. The more we hear about something, the more our interest develops towards it. So and as the senior devotees tell, we can hear about something only when whenever we perform an activity, we always try and see what is in it for me, how am I being benefited. So today we'll try and first discuss on the aspect of what is the effect of hearing Krishna Katha. So Amarendra Prabhu gives a very beautiful example of a dirty room. So we can see as to he tells, so if we are relocating or reshifting from an old house to a new house, and if we are rearranging all our stuffs, so the entire place would be so messy for somebody to come and look in. So we are all arranging the things, trying to organize things, and by some of you, one of your friend or relative happens to visit your home, and then he sees that there's so much mess all over and dirt spread in the house because you're trying to reorganize everything. And he would probably knock at the door and see that the house is all messed up, and maybe he'll tell maybe I'll visit next time or something like that. But if it's your best friend who is visiting, and if he sees that your house is all messed up, and you need help with cleaning it, then he would like pull up his sleeves and tell that I'll join you cleaning. It's just not by the mouth lip service, but basically he would come physically help you in cleaning up the room. So what did we just do? We let in that best friend come and just clean up the room. So similarly, Prabhu mentions telling that what are we supposed to do? We are just supposed to hear Krishna Katha. Let Krishna Katha inside your ears, so that Krishna will come and he will just take care of the rest of the cleaning. We don't have to worry about it. In the analogy I just stated, we just let in that best friend come in, and he took care of the cleaning process. He helped us in the cleaning process. It is not that just he was cleaning, but we were also together with him and helping him clean. So similarly, Krishna is our best friend. He is our ever well-wisher. So there could be nobody who cares for us as much as Krishna does, because he's our supreme father. So if we allow this best friend called Krishna through Krishna Katha and open our doors, that is our ears, and allow Krishna Katha to enter inside, then Krishna, he will come, he will take the responsibility of cleansing our hearts, which has, anarthas accumulated for life after life. He will make sure that all these anarthas are, cleansed, and he sits himself as Paramatma. Because in Srimad Bhagavatam, we are seeing 8th chapter, the prayers of Queen Kunti, wherein Vrajanath Prabhu talked about how Paramatma has been seated in our hearts. So Paramatma is residing in everybody's heart, but how do we receive that instruction and guidance from Paramatma is through Krishna Katha. Only when we cleanse our hearts, that is when, Krishna also sees that this soul, this individual is making attempt to at least cleanse his heart by letting in Krishna Katha, so let me help him. So Krishna comes forward to help this Jivatma, so that his anarthas are being cleansed, and once the anarthas is being cleansed, Krishna himself comes and sits and provides guidance to that devotees, because Krishna tells that my devotees will never perish, because it is Krishna who is giving guidance to this particular devotee. So regarding the same thing, we will try and see from Gopi Geet what Srimati Radharani tells about hearing Krishna Katham, because Gopi Geet is the song that is being sung by the gopis, and this is very dear to our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I've just picked up one verse, that is the 9th verse from the Gopi Geet. It goes as Tava Katamritam तप्त जीवनम कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदात्मतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते भूरिता जना. So the translation of the verse is that the nectar of the your verse and the description of your activities are the life and soul for those who are suffering in this material world. And these these narrations transmitted by the learned sages eradicate one's sinful reaction and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world. Just a minute. And are filled with spiritual power. Certainly, those who spread the message of the Godhead are more magnificent. So here, Radharani, she's telling that Tava Katamritam. So, Tava Katamritam Tapta Jivanam. So, those people who are whose life is burning in this forest fire of the material existence, the only meditation for that is hearing Krishna Katha. So why does Radharani tell that you have to hear Krishna Katha? She tells it is not that I am telling it. It is being authorized by all the kavis. It could be the Veda, it could be our Vyasadev or the four Kumaras. All the authorized scriptures and all the great Vaishnavas, they are all telling us to hear Krishna Katha. So Radharani is telling, and therefore I am insisting you to hear Krishna Katha, so that you can come out, you can pull yourself out from this blazing fire of material existence. And what happens when we hear Krishna Katha? Radharani tells, Shravana Mangalam Srimadatmatam. So hearing Krishna Katha, it is so auspicious that all the inauspicious thing, it gets eradicated. So there is nothing inauspicious that will ever exist when such an auspicious thing as Krishna Katha is existing. So Srimati Radharani is telling that this is the best gift anybody could give, because even we are telling Krishna Katha, Krishna tells that his name, his form, his pastime, all are non-different. All are non-different from Krishna himself. So when we are speaking Krishna Katha or glorifying the Supreme Lord, it is Krishna himself. So we know how Krishna incarnates in the form of the holy name. So similarly, the Krishna Katha and Krishna, they both are non-different. So when we are speaking about Krishna, we are giving Krishna to another person. So Srimati Radharani is emphasizing in the particular words that we discuss as to how if one has to come out from the blazing fire of material existence, the only medicine is hearing Krishna Katha. So one of the senior Vaishnava, he tells hearing is a lazy way of making advancement in your Krishna consciousness. So he tells that all you have to do is just sit and hear, and hear with attention. So we are sitting and hearing. Why not? When we are hearing, why not just pay attention? Anyways, we are spending time investing our time in that particular activity of hearing. So why not, give it a quality time and
Hare
give our
Krishna, you went
quality
on mute,
attention.
Mataji.
No, Prabhu. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yeah, it's clear.
Now it's audible, Mataji. You can go ahead.
So can I know till where was, where have you heard this?
We could hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, yeah, so how when we are investing the time, let's not why not we attentively hear Krishna Katha. So I'll just try and state certain things that I heard from senior Vaishnavas, and what should be the mood when we are hearing. So we heard that hearing Krishna Katha is very blissful. It is very blissful. It's all auspicious because Srimati Radharani, who is a very pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, she herself is stating, she's telling here Krishna Katha. So we have all heard that it is very important to hear Krishna Katha, but along with hearing Krishna Katha, it is the mood in which we are hearing Krishna Katha. So a few certain things that has to be considered while hearing Krishna Katha is the faith in which we are hearing. It is not just we walk into the class and we start hearing, and sometimes even when people are hearing, they doubt whether this Govardhan Leela that Lord performed, would it have really happened? Can a small boy like Krishna lift Govardhan on his little finger? Or why would Krishna be stealing butter? They tell Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So why would he go steal? So if somebody is hearing with this doubtful attitude, then the purpose of hearing Krishna Katha is not being accomplished. So first of all, when we are hearing Krishna Katha, we have to hear it with the utmost faith that whatever the speaker who is sitting on the Vyasasana and speaking is speaking the absolute truth, and that the Supreme Lord Krishna has performed these activities because Krishna is inconceivable. We cannot, if we are doubting the activities that Krishna has performed, then hearing such investing our time in such a doubtful activity, it would not yield the benefit that it is supposed to yield. So hearing with faith is very, very important, and after hearing we have to note down the points. That's it could be one single point in the entire class that has hit us, that has pierced our heart. It is so important that we make notes of what we hear on regular basis, and after that, after hearing and making notes, it is important that we question the speaker who has spoken Krishna Katha and clarify our doubts. And the most important stage, we could have heard, we could have made down the notes, we could have clarified our doubts or questions. But the most difficult and the important part is when we ourselves implement it. So it could be one single point, but how does that help me in my spiritual progress becomes a very important aspect. So how is that what we have got, how we have to see how can it be implemented in our life, and how can we spiritually progress by implementing the points that the speaker has told us. So these are certain considerations we can take into the account while hearing hearing from the devotees. And apart from these, I would like to state what effect have the devotees got by hearing Krishna Katha. There are certain instances that is being mentioned in our scriptures, wherein the devotees have heard the have heard about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that has been their key for their that's been the key for their progress in Krishna consciousness. So first of all, when we talk about hearing, it is hearing about Krishna and hearing from Krishna. So hearing about Krishna is Srimad Bhagavatam, where Vyasadeva, under the instruction of his spiritual master Sri Narada Muni, he is written such beautiful pastimes. He has described the beautiful pastimes and the glories of the Supreme Lord and even the devotees of the Lord. And that is hearing about Krishna and his pure devotees, and hearing from Krishna is the Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the two different, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hearing from Krishna is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where he instructed Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and where the verses are emanating from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. So we will see about certain instances from the scriptures. The first one is we know Rukmini Devi. We know how Rukmini Devi, she just fell in love with Krishna just by hearing about Krishna. So it's said that Rukmini, she never even had the darshan of Krishna. It is just by hearing about Krishna she developed so much attraction towards Krishna, and she decided if she's going to marry somebody in the entire universe, it would be Krishna. So that is how much impact that she had about just by hearing about the Supreme Lord. That is because Rukmini had faith in what she heard, and she believed that whatever the speaker is telling about Krishna, it is the absolute truth. She heard about Krishna with faith, and because she heard about Krishna with faith, she developed that liking and attachment towards Krishna, and she surrendered herself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So this is one of the example. Another example is Parikshit Maharaj, who was, cursed by Shringi that he would leave his body within 7 days. And that is when Parikshit Maharaj decided that he will sit and hear about the Supreme Lord. And he was such an opulent king. He was the grandson of Arjuna. He ruled the entire universe. In spite of that, he decided to give up all his material opulence just to sit and hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if somebody comes and tells to us that you have just 7 more days and you're going to leave your body on the 7th day, so what could we probably think of? Enjoying all the material opulence, going on a foreign tour, or buying something luxurious we always wanted to, buy. And so we could only think of buying everything on a material platform, basically. So we would always think on material platform, what more can I enjoy staying in, because I'm going to anyways leave my body, so let me enjoy more. That would be the mentality. But we can see how Parikshit Maharaj, even though he was the most opulent person, he decided to keep aside everything, and he surrendered to Sukadev Goswami. And Sukadev Goswami, he spoke about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And Parikshit Maharaj, he was so attentive while he was hearing. He did not even drink water or even have food. So that was the amount of attention that he was paying towards the Krishna Katha that was emanating from the lotus mouth of Shukadev Goswami. So when he heard Krishna Katha for 7 days, even before the snake bird could come and bite Parikshit Maharaj and become the cause of his death. It is said that he already has left his body and he's gone back to the spiritual world. Why did all of this happen? Because Parikshit Maharaj decided that whatever lifetime I have left in this material world, I have to use it in the service of the Lord. And the best way to do it for him was by hearing about the Supreme Lord. And he also teaches us as to what is the right way of putting the body from this material existence and going back to the supreme abode. And it is only by hearing that Parikshit Maharaj attained the supreme abode of the Lord. And lastly, our Prahlad Maharaj, who happened to hear Krishna Katha when he was in the womb of his mother. So Narada Muni was, describing about the various pastimes of the Lord to the mother of Prahlad. Even though Prahlad was born in a demonic family of Hiranyakashipu, how did he become such an exalted Vaishnava? He's known among the 12 Mahajans. It is because when he was in the womb of his mother, he started hearing Krishna Katha. And just by hearing, lending his ears towards the Krishna Katha that was being spoken by Narada Muni, upon his coming upon his coming out of his mother's womb into this material world, the power of hearing is so much so that he could remember Lord Hari every time. So that is the power of hearing. When Prahlad Maharaj was just inside the womb of his mother, he heard Krishna Katha and he became an exalted Vaishnava. So all these three instances, it could be of Rukmini, it could be of Parikshit Maharaj, and even of Prahlad Maharaj, all of them have, attained the supreme abode or spiritual wealth just by hearing about the Supreme Lord. And this is the proof that, his pastimes or his holy name, that is how it is a proof that it is non-different. Krishna Katha and Krishna himself, they are non-different. We can say the evidence is the lives of these devotees. And the last aspect that we'll try and wind up is, from whom are we supposed to hear? So we discussed about what is the effect of hearing, and to hear, what is the mood that we have to develop, and lastly, what is the effect of hearing? What is the mood in which we have to hear, so that we can have the right impact, right effect, and the right purpose. The purpose for which we are hearing Krishna Katha is being accomplished. So the best source that we can hear is from the parampara. So we have to always try and hear from the Guru Parampara, starting from our own Guru Maharaj, and then moving on to Srila Prabhupada. And we have to always try and see that we hear from a bona fide parampara, because Krishna Katha could be spoken by any person, because somebody could be discussing about the pastimes of Krishna, but we have to see whether it is being authorized by the scriptures and whether they are speaking in line with parampara. That becomes a very important point. So when we are hearing from our own spiritual master, it is very important that we, as initiated devotees and sheltered devotees, or even aspiring, that we hear from our Guru Maharaj, because when the words that come out of the lotus lips of our Gurudev, it has the power of burning all the material desires, and helping us, because we are all in ignorance, it helps us to move towards knowledge, that is the supreme absolute truth. So it is very important that we hear from our respective spiritual master, because the words that are emanating from his lotus mouth has the ability to destroy all the sins we would have accumulated for many lives together. Even in our Shri Guru Charana Padma Guru Puja that we perform, there is a very nice verse that is Shri Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitaite Koriye Akya Arana Koriye Mane Asha. So the translation is, my only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words that is emanating from his lotus mouth. So here the translation tells that if we are hearing from the lotus mouth of our Gurudev, it will, burn all the material desires that we could have. So it becomes very important that we hear from our Guru. So one of the analogies is a state that was stated by Amarendra Prabhu, when we hear from the lips of a sadhu. So all these sins that we could have accumulated, it could it could be any amount, any number of sins or any amount of sins that we could have accumulated. Just as the glaciers melt, it will just melt in the similar form, all the sins, if provided we are hearing it from an authorized source. So how is that? It could be Prahlad Maharaj or Parikshit Maharaj or even Rukmini Devi. How did they develop that attachment towards Krishna? It is because it was heard from the right source. And here, so hearing from the right source becomes a very important aspect in the entire process of hearing. Because when we it is the Supreme Lord, it is the spiritual master, he has seen the supreme truth, so he will only speak the absolute truth and he will not deviate from the Shastras. So it becomes very important that we hear from the spiritual master. So once in our Bhakti Vriksha, we were discussing, and my Shiksha Guru was telling, so what if your spiritual master comes to you and tells you that, today is Thursday. So if he tells to you that, no, today is not Thursday and today is Friday, so are you supposed to correct your spiritual master, is what my Shiksha Guru asked. And we all were telling him that, yes, because it's supposed to be Thursday. So, we'll go tell him that it is Thursday, Gurudev. So he told us that you're not supposed to do it, because whatever Gurudev tells, that is correct. Even if it could be it could be Thursday, and if he's telling it is Friday, then that is the right point, is what my Shiksha Guru told. So Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, he was mentioning, it seems, that if Prabhupada comes and tells to him that the planet that you are living on is Venus and not Earth, Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj said that he would believe Prabhupada, because all the scientists and everybody, they're under the they have all the four defects and they're under the influence of material nature, and it could happen that they are wrong, but Prabhupada is the messenger of the Supreme Lord, and there is no chance that Prabhupada could tell anything against the scripture. So that is the faith Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, he had on the words of Prabhupada. He literally told, if Prabhupada comes today and tells me that you're not living on earth and you're living on Venus, I would blindly believe Prabhupada. So we're supposed to have that faith in the words of the spiritual master and hear from the right source, so that Krishna Katha can enter inside our hearts and cleanse our hearts, so that one day we can also become very good devotees and serve Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. So I stop hereby, and I thank all of you for your patient hearing from me. And if I've done any mistakes, I would request all of you to please forgive me. And I thank Mathurapati Prabhu and Parabhakti Mataji for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.